Let's continue our conversation with former Congressman Pete Hoekstra and Michael Patrick Flanagan. Mike, you were making a point about Rahm Emanuel in the Obama administration when our break got in the way. You want to finish your thought on that?
Sure thing, JD. Thanks for putting up with the fact that I don't know what 15 seconds actually is. I remember in 2010, I think it was, when Rahm Emanuel was chief of staff of the White House. I remember this because I was so startled by it. He said he'd come into the office every day and ask, "Who did we get today?" as if he were part of the war effort himself. He was talking about droning, and he was talking about killing off the contacts that the Bush administration had developed over the years. Horrible people who needed to die, but maybe people we weren't done mining information from yet, and merely to score some quick victories. And by doing that, we have freed that organization to grow by leaps and bounds, and we have no real good intelligence about it anymore because we don't develop any intelligence. They have a blithe attitude about the droning, where Cheney agonized over whether or not to have the enhanced interrogation with the people that we had captured. Obama sends them out of Guantanamo. The Bush administration put them in so we could find out information from them. The Democrats have nowhere to stand on this, and this report does not help them at all. As Pete was absolutely correct in observing, so many people that signed off on that report now fully approved of these behaviors earlier. It is rank hypocrisy, and it's sad to watch.
Well, what was also sad to watch for many of us, the proceedings on the floor of the United States Senate over the weekend. Let's take a look at the interchange between Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and the senior senator from Illinois, Dick Durbin, going after Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen.
This is the same senator who shut down the government last year in protest over the Affordable Care Act.
Very same man now. He's hung up on not only the Affordable Care Act, but the president's action to give 5 million people relief in this country so that they can come out of the shadows and make our country a more productive place.
I thank the majority leader and hope that we can find some bipartisan majority to move forward.
Well, they found it. Harry Reid calls it relief. I think a lot of us call it amnesty. Pete Hoekstra, your reaction to the 56-40 vote for that $1.1 trillion Cromnibus package?
Well, JD, I'm not surprised. Michael, you and I, we were all there for these kinds of situations. And coming off the government shutdown roughly a year ago, they were not going to shut down government. The levers of power that Republicans were willing to use as they come to the end of this year were very, very limited. Now they're going to have to regroup. Speaker Boehner, Majority Leader McConnell are going to have to develop a strategy to reduce spending, to go after the Affordable Care Act, and to effectively try to roll back the immigration policies that the president has done by executive order. They don't have a coherent strategy. If they're going to challenge this president, they're going to have to develop a broad strategy that their caucuses are going to buy into, and at this point they don't. And if Republicans are divided, they will be ineffective.
Now, Mike, when you were with us a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this, and you said it would be wise just to fund spending until February, when that new Republican majority came in. As it stands now, the president gets most of his spending clear on till next September, and he gets to fund his amnesty project for 3 months. Is it going to be tough for Republicans to backtrack on amnesty 3 months from now?
I hope not. And I think that Boehner's thinking, at least I hope his thinking is if we take this sword of Damocles of funding the government from our heads, that'll free us to get tough with the White House. And if that's the plan, I'm all for it. Because Boehner is not, milk toast. A lot of people think he's weak, and he's none of those things. He is a tough guy. He is a hard negotiator. And I think he will take us to a place we're very glad we'll be in April and May. We'll look back and say the strategy was good. I think Peter's right again. I think we need a better announced strategy. But I know a lot of people around Boehner, and I can't believe they're stumbling along. I think they're probably working a very good strategy now. And the fact that they didn't fund amnesty through the end of the year, but only until March, should tip your hat and it should tip your hand a little bit and say there's something coming.
All right, a minute is left. Pete, Can they actively come back and roll back that amnesty, or is there going to be political pressure and, quite frankly, political sympathy for some pro-amnesty Republicans saying, no, no, we can't do it now? 30 seconds for your thought on that, Pete.
No, I think clearly they will have their options. This is something that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to do something on the Affordable Care Act. They will come back with a strategy.
Well, let's hope so, because right now everybody's on Christmas break and the government stays in business. But of course, as we know, perception can outweigh reality, and those so-called shutdowns keep a good chunk of the government up and running. Gentlemen, we appreciate it. Pete Hoekstra, former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and Michael Patrick Flanagan, the so-called giant slayer when he defeated Ways and Means Chairman Dan Rostenkowski about 20 years ago. Gents, for your analysis and expertise, we thank you, and America's Forum will continue.